Hi, everybody. It's Amber here, one of the co-founders of Women in White Coats, and I'm here with Archana, our other co-founder, and we are talking about an article that got a lot of buzz within the last week or so. The name of the article is Women Docs Stop Glamorizing the Lifestyle, and it was written by Archana. And we want to talk about it because it's something that I think would be interesting for people to know about and also to hear your view about the article when you wrote it. So tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks, Amber. So, this is 100% an opinion piece where I was sharing my opinion on the blog, and we did actually label it as an opinion piece. So, it really was all about how I think that in medicine that we women doctors really need to consider, showing more of the real deal of what it takes to be a woman in a white coat instead of the glamorized version that sometimes we see in Hollywood or on TV shows. And also what I was kind of seeing on social media a lot. I see people posting these pictures and, in their white coats or at work or in the office, and they look incredibly glamorous in these pictures. And I feel as though the pendulum has kind of swung, like where we used to get, many women doctors have probably been told, oh, you're too pretty to be a doctor, right? So it was sort of this implication that you can't have brains and beauty, right? And it seems like the pendulum had swung from that extreme of like, you can't be smart and beautiful, right? To this other extreme of like, you have to be smart and beautiful to be a doctor. And I just don't feel like that's the case. You don't have to be smart and beautiful. You do have to be smart. You do have to be hardworking. You do have to be dedicated. But I don't think you have to be beautiful, well-dressed, and done up to be a doctor. What you have to be is just incredibly hardworking. And I think it's a really tough job. And when I wrote that article, what happened was the reason I decided to write it is because I came home from a night shift. My hair was a huge mess. I had bags under my eyes. I had intubated somebody with CHF and had pulmonary edema, bodily fluids splashed on me, right? And I'm coming home from this night shift, trying to fall asleep. Sometimes I would just scroll Instagram and I'm seeing these pictures of other doctors just posting their pictures where they look so glamorous. And I'm just like, gosh, that is not my life at all. Working in the ER, I'm dealing with MRSA and VRE and now COVID and sexual assaults and rapes and child abuse and all these gross smells and bodily fluids. And I'm like, my life does not feel glamorous in the least. And meanwhile, I was just thinking about, we've got colleagues dying out there too from, COVID and there's occupational hazards, some of which you and I have experienced, things like moral injury, burnout, depression. I mean, this is not, to me, a glamorous life. It has some amazing things about it. And I'm not trying to discourage people who want to go into medicine, but I just want to make sure we're portraying both sides of it. Every profession has the good and the bad, but I just felt that as women doctors, there are young women out there, even girls out there looking up to us to see like, what is this lifestyle like? What is this profession like? And I really just felt it was important that we show both sides of it. Yes, sometimes they're glamorous. Yes, there are some hospital meetings for which I dress up. And, especially if there's like an awards dinner or these, evening kind of things, I definitely dress up. I get my hair done. I do my makeup. I put on a nice dress. I wear some heels, but that's great. Let's show that. But then let's also show like the really difficult moments, the really hard moments, like I can't even count how many people have, patients have died that I've taken care of, like there are so many hard moments there that I just feel like we need to show both sides of this and not only this glamorous side of medicine. And so that's what I wrote about in the article. And I spoke about how me personally, like how I like to be very understated when I go to work. I dress professionally. I'm always hygienic. I'm always clean. And I wear scrubs. I wear gym shoes. I wear my glasses. That's kind of me. That's like my alter ego at work. That's how I like to dress and show up at work, because I don't want my looks to necessarily distract from the message I'm trying to give to people. And not saying that your looks have to, that was one of the points some people made, was that we should be able to dress however we want to. We should be able to put on makeup if that makes us feel good. And I 100% agree. I was not at all trying to say that people shouldn't care about how they look, that they shouldn't take time for self-care. I'm actually a huge advocate for self-care. If anybody's read my work or is familiar with my talks, you'll know that I am a huge advocate for self-care. I spend time every single day on my own self-care, which for me looks like meditation, gratitude, exercise, getting enough sleep, eating well. That's my self-care routine. And for others, that may be things like, doing your hair, doing your makeup, dressing nicely. That may be part of your self-care. And I wasn't trying to say by any means that people shouldn't do that. I want people to do what's best for them. Like whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you feel confident in the setting in which you work, go for it. By all means, that's absolutely what you should do. But for me, that's just not my world. That's just not how I felt like I wanted to show up at work.
Well, for one thing too, Archie, I want to point out, you don't have to wear makeup and you are still looking good, girl. So that is a wonderful thing. And the way that you show up works for you. And what I know for even me and others is that, sometimes what we do for ourselves is what we do for ourselves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What feels good for us feels good for us, but it doesn't mean that it fits everyone. Some people want to say, hey, girl, I got my bag today. And I'm like, okay, do you. For me, it may not work as well. Or even for me, I know, and I don't even know how this happened, but even at my job, I just show up how I am, however I feel. Usually I try to, I really emulate my mom and how she dressed when she went to work. So I'm just like, okay, let me put on a nice dress. Sometimes it's form fitting, sometimes it's too form fitting. So I got to put my white coat over it. But, at work, they feel like I glamorize work when I go to work. And I'm like, how did that? And then they said, oh, you wear Chanel. I said, when did y'all see me wear Chanel to this office? When did that happen? But, however you feel, especially during COVID time, the whole thing is that we want people to feel the best that they can in these hard times. And your best, it may not be someone else's, what someone else feels is best for them. And so the thing I love about Women in White Coats, and this is what I was saying in some of the groups too, and I was telling you as well, Archana, is that the whole point of Women in White Coats is a platform so that we can tell our opinions. And yes, as women in medicine, we have opinions, and that's what's beautiful about us. So it's not that the article may have been against this person or that person or whatever. It's to have a conversation. So I love that we're having a conversation today. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, like, we should all do what works for ourselves, like we all have our own definition of what self-care entails for ourselves, right? And you do you. It's perfectly fine. You do you. But I guess I just feel like let's show the different perspectives of medicine and the different sides of it. Not only just sometimes, on social media, people are always showing the highlight reel, right? Like the best pictures, the best, when their house is perfect and neat and organized. And that's just not me. That's not my life. We all have it's sometimes like you're comparing your life to the highlight reel of someone else. And comparison, of course, is the thief of joy, and it's never a good thing. But I like to be honest with people, and I'll be like, my house is a mess most of the time, but I've got kids and they're busy and they have activities. And, we love doing all sorts of different sports and we do the best that we can. And I do what I feel is a priority to me, and keeping a perfectly clean house isn't my priority. And spending a lot of time on hair and makeup just isn't my priority right now in this season of life. Maybe it will be at a different point in life. And like I said, I mean, I do love to get dressed up, and you know, I'm of Indian descent, and we love going to our, you know, our events, like wearing silk and like all sorts of sparkles and jewelry and all of that stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that by any means. Like, that's awesome and it's fun. And you know, we should do that if it makes us feel good. And so that's like mostly what I was wanting to say. And I guess I also wanted to say, like, you know, the young girls out there looking up to us, or young women out there looking up at us, and like, you know, like my daughter is 8 and she says she wants to be a doctor one day. And, you know, I just want her to realize, you know, if she's you know, if she's looking on social media or she's looking at us, that she can do it. You know, she can be a doctor, and it doesn't matter what she looks like. She can look nerdy, she can look bookish, she can look plain, she can even be pretty, right? And be a doctor. It really doesn't matter what she looks like. All that matters is she does the work and she puts in the time and she has the dedication to doing it. So those are some of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess that what really brings up this conversation as well is that men don't even have to talk about any of this. Yeah. Not at all. I have not had one male colleague talking about, oh, I need to make sure I'm doing this in a post on Facebook or Instagram or all that. It's just so interesting what happens when it comes to women in medicine, because we carry different things and we portray ourselves in different ways, and we have different standards and all of that, from even how we're paid in medicine. So many different things come up. And I think, like I said before, that this is a good conversation to have. That's why I love your article, because it brings up some things that we need to talk about. So make sure, if anything else, I hope that you all always look at us as a place where you can share your opinions, because that's what is so great about Women in White Coats. We love to hear different opinions so we can talk about it. We can have a place where we can talk about it. All right, Archana, anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just wanted to say, like, because I know it caused a lot of buzz, and I just want to say to people, I didn't mean to offend anyone, and I can see that maybe the tone came across as judgmental, and it's certainly not what I intended it to be. I just wanted to share my opinion, create a conversation, and I think that's what we did, and that's what we are all about here at Women in White Coats, is sharing the real deal, the stories, the different perspectives that people have, from our books to our blog to our Facebook community. Everything we do is really about giving a voice to different women who wear the white coat, you know? So there's so many different opinions out there. We'd love to hear your opinion, and you can always share it or submit it to our blog. And that's exactly what we're here for, to create conversations.
And we're always coming from a place of love. So thank you for watching our video. We hope that this can spark even more conversations in the future. All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.